Assalamualaikum. Now today I'm going to share with you a suit that is partly ready-made and partly I've stitched to go with the ready-made. Now the reason for showing these videos is to really advise you and to try and encourage and motivate you to do things yourself. And sometimes it's in many ways you can only do things yourself in the best manner that other people will be hesitant, or you will struggle to find people to tackle things like that. Now with this particular suit, I had a Banarsi fabric which I had only it was only 36-inch wide, so it wasn't very wide fabric, and it was only 3 yards, and to make a full suit out of 3 yards is virtually impossible. Majority of machinists, if you take it around to any machinist, they would straight away say this is no way enough, and we can't do it. So how did I go about making it? Well, it wasn't easy. What I did was I laid out the fabric and I took out the daman for the kameez, and then the side fabric that I had left over, I took out the trouser pieces. Now I ran short in quite a few different places. The back daman of the kameez I ran short from here upwards, and then what I had left over from cutting the back of the trouser, I combined all those pieces, and it was about 13-14 pieces that I stitched together to combine to make this one piece, and then to cut out the back of the kameez. Now I knew that it was virtually impossible to find another piece of fabric to go underneath this, and sometimes it's, you're just stuck with doing the best with what you've got. So I knew you wouldn't be able to see underneath this, because once this is worn underneath, you're not going to be able to tell where the pieces are. But it still had to be done. Now I'm going to put it in and show you what it's going to look like. I'm not sure if Halima's going to give you a modeling preview, so maybe this is the only time where you're going to get to see this. So I had no fabric left for the sleeves, so I've just used plain chiffon, and I've lined the sleeves because they were fairly thin, so this double layer now is just gonna give it a little bit, I'm not very keen on the exposure sort of aspect of it, so it's still very thin. So now I knew that you wouldn't be able to tell once this is worn, so by combining all those pieces and still making the best, it's actually done a brilliant job. So that's the kameez with the full lining, and I've explained this in another video. With Banarsi type of fabrics, you do have the problem of being very rough and coarse on the wrong side. So what I've done is I've lined it with a very thin chiffony dupatta type. I would love to get Halima to actually model this for you. I will try and convince her if she agrees. The neckline was a bit wide, so the inner neckline I've done it just a little bit tighter, which hopefully will shoulder seam is. Yeah, it's just gonna sit just a little bit higher than, but it's because it's Banarsi fabric, we're gonna be perfectly fine. So that's the kameez. And then the trouser, again we had a problem. This is a lined trouser. I was short on the fabric, so I've compromised a little bit, but I've shown how to sew a very easy method of a lined trouser, and you know what, it's come out absolutely beautiful. Now that's where I was short on the fabric, so about that much from the top, but because she's going to have her dress on and you're not really going to be able to see into that. That's basically the trouser. It's a narrow fitting trouser, and it's come out absolutely beautifully. Now sometimes with this, ideally what I would have done is cut the Banarsi just a little bit longer, and the navy that I've lined it with a little bit shorter. But because I was so short on the fabric, I was skimping. And generally what you do is if you have the top portion longer, then you will not see the lining fabric. With this one, I have got a little bit of a dilemma with the lining fabric. So what I might do is just do like a inside seam here, just to make that a little bit shorter, so that the lining doesn't. I'm going to get her to try it on first though, because if it means that it's pulling and it's short, then I'm going to leave it as it is. It doesn't matter if it's very marginally showing at the bottom. She's going to have her fancy shoes on, and it just makes it a little bit more highlighted. Anyway, that's the wonderful trouser. Now I have shown making this trouser for Inaya in the past, the lining trouser. But if you want to attempt lining the trouser, I will always advise, if it's a thin fabric, I would advise it, and if it's on a what's it called, if it's on a Banarsi type of fabric, I would advise it. So I'm just turning it over just to show you what it's like on the inside. There's no seams, all the seams are hidden on the inside, so it's actually invisible. The only seam that you can actually see is the crutch seam, and I did that on the outer side, where I grabbed both of them together and we did it in the one go. So alhamdulillah, a worthwhile tutorial to go through if you want to go through the tips of how to go about lining the trouser. Tomorrow inshallah we're going to do a tutorial on a dress that I want to design for Inaya. I'm going to quickly give you a preview of the fabrics so I don't have to do a separate video. The design that we're going to make is going to be this one. It's an angarka type of a frock. There is a video showing Inaya modeling this, and the fabrics that I've chosen to make this are these. It's quite similar. It's a bit of a richer color. So we're going to be using that fabric for the outer sides, and we're going to be using this fabric for the inner pleating. It's a beautiful color that I think she's going to look gorgeous in. And then we've got a combination of laces. We've got this one and we've got this one. So these are our laces, and then to top it all off with, we have got the Banarsi fabric. And do you know what, I was just looking at something and I'm tempted. I'm very much tempted. If I want to brighten this up more, I have got, I don't know, it's a wedding, so perhaps I would go for this for the inside. Or will it be too much? No, I'm going to go for the subtle colors. There's nothing like the subtle colors. So we're going to go for the subtle look, and we're going to use this lace, and the combinations. So if you want to watch how we go about, I'm going to do a full tutorial on this because I missed out on the last time, and I really want to show how to make this, so that perhaps many of you will go on to make this Eid time for your little ones. So inshallah, see you tomorrow, and for the next tutorial. Take care, have a wonderful evening, and happy sewing.